The thing that I would like to find out first of all from you, David, is how do you go from someone who is creative, obviously, you've got that in you, obviously, to somebody who feels comfortable sort of nurturing and talking about and developing the creativity in others?
I mean, for me, it really came over, it happened over a long period of time. I think the shift really for me happened, I was living in New York.
Right.
And it was really when the music business was imploding.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And when that happened, you really had a choice where you could chase the old,
right,
or you could be excited by the new.
Yeah.
And I got very inspired by the change that was happening in digital, but also really what was happening was the change that was happening to the value of ideas.
Yep.
And so I got very inspired by that, and that sort of led me down this rabbit hole of getting involved with the internet and getting involved with startups. And from there, I went on to do a lot of speaking at conferences to businesses about creativity and the creative process. And that led me to, as I started to really research my own process within tech and within arts, that led me to want to talk about it a lot more.
I mean, what you're talking about is, I was in journalism at the same time, you're working in the music industry at the same time, and a lot of people were talking apocalypse. A lot of people were just running around going, it's all over, it's all over. But you were able to kind of see through that and to see opportunity. So I guess when we talk about creativity, one of the things we're talking about is inclination, aren't we? Are some people more creative than others?
I think that some people are more creatively inclined than others.
Right.
I think that we definitely, I think that when people, if you go into a room of 6-year-old kids in school and you watch them, they're all doing something creative. They really are. There's not the 5 creative kids and then the 30 guys that are people that are just sitting there, trying to wait for something to do. Every kid is creative, but the process that we, our life process, our school process, right. The status quo, it really does beat the creativity out of you. And so I think what a lot of people are trying to figure out, how do I get back to that spark of a person? How do I find the beginning point where I can get back to my creativity?
So I'm interested in kind of how you arrived at what would finally be the structure of the book itself.
It was funny when I was starting. I've worked on a lot of different kinds of creative projects in different genres, but this is really my first book. And I think I started a book just like every single person starts a book. You get your laptop or your brand new iPad and you just start writing, and you're very excited, and you write for about a week, and then you put it away, and then maybe you'll write for another few days, and then you put it away, and then slowly over time something else takes over. And for me as well, the book sort of went away.
Right.
And I really had to sort of regroup and say, okay, what do I need in my own creative process to make this work? What does my own structure look like? What are the things, all the elements that I need to bring together to deliver creativity,
right, yeah.
to deliver this new genre, this new medium? And so I really got, from that point, I was able to deliver the book.
What tends to prevent people from being creative? Is it just kind of living their lives? Are they afraid? What tends to impede the process?
It's both of those things. I mean, I think that many of us these days have busy lives. So, there are a million reasons not to be creative. Just life in general is overwhelming. There's this flood of stuff all the time. And then there is this, then there really is a fear as well, right? Whenever you're faced with an opportunity to expose yourself to the world and possibly get crushed, that really is, there really is a fear barrier.
Right.
And that really is that, what Seth Godin calls the lizard brain.
Yeah.
Where it's that pull your hand away from the fire because it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But creativity really demands that you continually stick your hand into this damn fire.
Yeah.
Because that's how you do it. You got to push through that barrier.
Can you give me an example of one of the creative challenges that you perhaps are most proud of, not because of the end result, but because of the feat of creativity that took you to the end result?
I did this experiment. I just got interested in this idea where I started to try and figure out, every time we play on stage, the audience really powers the band. The energy of the audience really powers what we do. So I started to try and revisualize how we could reverse engineer that idea. So how the audience could, how the heartbeat of the audience could set the rhythm of the evening. And so I started experimenting with heart rate monitors, and I settled on a heart rate monitor, and then we built an Arduino circuit board, and we tested that out. And I found that heartbeats are actually very irregular, because I wanted the band to play to someone's heartbeat. And so we wrote an algorithm that can suck out the weird anomalies in the human heartbeat, and we embedded it into this circuit board. And so now during some concerts, but most of the speaking gigs I do, we'll pick someone out of the audience, and then myself and my guitar player improvise live to their heartbeat.
What is the simplest and most effective exercise that we can all perform to keep our creative spark going?
The very simplest thing is to set aside 5 minutes a day, set aside 10 minutes a day, work on something that is outside of your genre or discipline that you're interested in, something that you are curious about. Because even that 5 or 10 minutes that's somewhere outside, that can, and what it did for me very much is it re-sparked my learning center, right? After you've been doing something for a long time, we sort of forget how to learn. And once you start to learn again, then suddenly like the world is this different place, right? The learning makes you think of the world completely differently. So that's what I would say, is that's the one thing. The reality is that the world is, the digital's not going away, and just the sheer speed of ideas and the speed of change is not going to go away. And so what you're good at today may be obsolete tomorrow, and that really is the truth. Somewhere in some garage somewhere, there is somebody working on an idea that is going to change your business. And that's for new businesses and old businesses. There's somebody working in a small team somewhere that's going to alter the shape of your business. And so for companies these days, that's why it's so important to try and stay connected to your creativity. But it's not only for companies, it's for individuals, right? Where we used to live in a world where jobs lasted forever, where things didn't change. Now things change all the time. Now the job you have today may not be the job you have in a week. You may shift, and you have to, because the biggest part of creativity isn't just about making some better thing, really. It's really about developing a culture that's adaptable and nimble and able to move very quickly. You know what? You'd be amazed that every single industry is desperately looking for creativity. They're desperate to find, because everybody knows that there is some startup sitting out there trying to do what they do better than they do. And also, I think that through creativity, there's a satisfaction when people that work at a company are allowed to be creative. There's a value to it in just in terms of culture, where people are allowed to express their creativity and, expand their job description to be a bigger thing than just simply what you were assigned to do.